Ladies and gentlemen, pull out your hair ties. It's time to let your hair down and truly get funky.
Welcome back to All That's Hair, a podcast that will explore the business of beauty from the origins of the art of hairdressing to how hair salons have evolved to meet the changing ideal of beauty. We're going to talk about the challenges hairdressers and salon owners alike face in the 21st century with some historical context and a vision for a better industry. I'm joined together today, once more by Marco and Leonardo Redavid.
Hey guys,
how are you guys?
Thanks for joining today. Thanks for listening.
Yeah, it's going to be fun today.
We also have a very special guest. Miss Katherine Sims is joining us. Hello, Katherine.
Hi. Thanks for having me.
Oh, our pleasure.
Thanks for joining us.
I'm excited.
We need your big brain today. We want to talk about your expertise in the industry and everything that's been going on these past couple of years, and the challenges that salon owners face. So,
yeah, or the craziness that's been going on.
Exactly.
Yeah, it'll be fun to give them some inspiration and some good ideas and how to keep going.
Totally.
Yeah, why don't we start off, Katherine, with introducing yourself and telling us a little bit about you.
Sure. So, like you said, my name's Katherine Sims. I'm from a small little town, well, not little, but like town city called Windsor, Ontario. And I have been here now my whole life, but traveled the world, studied hair, a major passion for it and a desire to empower others within the industry. So that's kind of where my journey took me and led me to Redavid. And I am so happy and proud to be part of this company. It allows me to continue to empower others on a much broader scale. And for me, becoming a salon owner in the last 5 years has proven to be challenging and rewarding all at the same time. So it's very much a learning curve.
It's been 5 years, Katherine. I thought just with your expertise, in my head, I thought you'd owned salons for 20 years and had been, since you were started. That's crazy.
I managed a salon for almost 9 before owning my salon. So it seems that way for a lot of people, but.
Well, yeah, you seem so established and set that you've been doing it for years. I had no idea it was only 5 years. That's awesome.
I've been doing hair for 16 years now. So the ownership part where you have to sign checks and sign on the dotted line really put me through the ringer. So, yeah.
I love it. Right on.
Yeah.
What are some of the challenges and the lessons that you've learned sitting in the owner's seat versus behind the chair?
Yeah, great question. So I co-own with my sister, who's my best friend, but also my business partner. And sometimes, the boundaries and the lines between kind of partners and family get blurred. So that's definitely one of the lines her and I had to work out as far as how we approach our business. But right from the beginning, we were very clear on the vision of our business and where we wanted it to go. And the end goal. So that allowed us to really stay on track. One of the major challenges I think for the both of us facing has always been staffing. I think staffing is a really huge part within the salon and beauty industry in general, continuing to maintain the quality of life for yourselves as owners, as well as providing the quality of life for staff. A good balance between working and home life, a good balance between making enough money and not making enough money. So really that is the challenge within our industry, because it seems like, and I'm just going to say it, since we're all artists, we're all super sensitive and we always sit on the teetering totter line of our emotions and making decisions based on our emotions, but really honing that in and setting the expectations right from the beginning of what our salon company is about and setting a career path up that does not involve any blurred lines and a clear understanding of the career path that we have set ahead for them. So staffing has always been an issue, but the biggest reward out of this is meeting so many awesome people. And for me, my objectives within our salon company is managing the staff and the personalities and the people, where my sister, she really takes a strong hold on the back end of things, our websites, the money, the management of that part of it. For me, the most rewarding part is understanding when it's someone's time has expired within your company and allowing them to go feeling still empowered for what they did contribute to our life. And so for me, that's awesome because it always opens doors for new opportunities where a lot of people tend to be bitter about it. For me, I'm very grateful for the opportunity. And whatever they've learned through my years of experience or what I'm able to teach them, I feel like that carries on because they never leave saying bad things about us. We're always still in touch. We're always, they're always coming to my education classes anyways afterwards. So that's really empowering, definitely.
That's awesome.
That's awesome. What I wanted to give you guys some interesting stats. So each stylist sees between 5 to 10 clients a day on average. There are 1.2 million salons in the United States that generate $57 billion in sales, according to a 2019 PBA report. 72% of stylists work paycheck to paycheck, though, with only about a month's worth of cash reserves to live on, and 23% have no insurance. An average salon only makes between 5 to 6% on the bottom line in terms of profit, with the owners themselves often having to work behind the chair to make a living. That those numbers to me were pretty surprising, particularly when you think about how COVID impacted our industry and the real shutdown. Katherine, with staff that you saw at your salon, did you have a lot of turnover or stylists that really rethought even pursuing hair or staying with hair?
Yeah, we didn't have a turnover as far as like staffing leaving us to go to another salon company. We did have a lot of people really, and I think in our industry in general, a lot of people really reassessing their life. And not, I mean, I know not just our industry, from what I hear from other industries as well, people who were on a high burnout rate, reassessing the value to life and what direction and where they want to be and who they want to be with, Yeah. And so for us, I think it took a really hard hit within our area as far as people deciding they no longer wanted to be owners, that it was no longer beneficial to be under that amount of stress. And it's really sad to say, but from some of the stats you gave, living month to month and paycheck to paycheck, they're really purchasing products to perform the service on account and paying it off when the money is in. And I think when a situation like COVID happens and people still want their money because, they still have to pay that account, a lot of the companies and suppliers did give a very graceful grace period, I would say, as far as paying it off. But at the end of the day, you still have to pay it. And with no income coming in, especially in Ontario, for the amount of time we were under lockdown and our restrictions, a lot of companies within our area really suffered from it and ended up shutting down alternatively.
Yeah.
The impact that has on us is that when a company shuts down from an actual business location, they oftentimes move to a home salon. And the competitive part of that for me is when you work hard to provide a salon experience that's of beyond quality of what your bubble is used to. So in our area, our salon is very chic, very, upscale, you walk in and you're transported to another place. It makes it hard to justify your prices when people are cutting you from your legs off from a home service. So that was one of the challenges. Right. The other challenge really came in as far as my staffing was making sure they were okay, right? While we were shut down. And if you add the time up, it was almost 13 months we were restricted. Yeah. And so financially, my sister and I, we were able to set ourselves up very early on where we were out of debt within our salon company, that we were not on, account balances. We pay as we go, and built up enough of a foundation where we were able to support our staff should they needed it outside of what the government did for them.
Wow, that's awesome.
And within coming back, they were all really grateful. And I think being genuine people and understanding that we're all in this together really allowed them to have some empathy and understanding for why we are the way we are.
Yeah.
Why we have precedent within our salon company, why we're strict the way we're strict, but also that those sacrifices allow you to have these benefits.
Right. Wow, that's awesome to hear. I mean, you're definitely the outlier on the keeping the staff and the way it's gone, but it's obviously because of the culture that you've created in your salon, and you managed to maintain that. It seems like that's one of the toughest things that was hard to maintain. When people go away from something for so long and then come back, it's hard to just go back into that culture that you're in every day. We were on the road the last month here in the South. We were in Oklahoma City and San Antonio and Dallas, and we actually got to go into a bunch of salons that we had visited back in August and September. Multiple salons had changed owners. Yeah. 1 out of 6 staff were still at certain salons. What we noticed in the States was a mass exodus to booth renters, to suite salons. And now in Canada, we don't necessarily have the same setup as they do in the US. The States has got Phoenix Salon Suites and Sola Suites, like on every block almost. And we haven't quite made that transition in Canada, but that's what I noticed. Like, tons of people just said, you know what, this salon's not for me. I'm going to go do it on my own in a suite where I can make my own hours and, just rent it when I need it. And they're sharing suites, and multiple salon owners sold and kind of are out of the business. We noticed quite a bit of that in the States just in this last trip alone. And that was just a small subset of salons. So
and that's because, they're, again, like Ken said, they're month to month. Mm-hmm. So it's like there's no way they can make that kind of living. So, you go back what you do best, go behind the chair and cut hair and, be by yourself. And that's kind of boring too at the same time.
The other major issue, and I know this is not an issue for the States, but within Canada, is that people don't realize when you become a sole proprietor, which is owning your own booth or renting a chair from a salon and no longer operating under another company, you're no longer entitled to benefits that the government gives you.
Yeah.
Like unemployment and that sort of thing. So also, I think a lot of our employees were grateful that our salon company doesn't run off of renters, because then when the time did come for them to apply for CERB or unemployment, they were eligible.
Yeah.
We paid it. We made, we do what we need to do with the government. And so they were able to benefit from that, from being part of a company that gave back to them.
That's awesome. Love it.
I think the major part also, like with COVID, is, and I know we did this with Redavid, like you just make sure you take that time out because you have so much extra time to build on morale versus like the foundations of businesses, right?
Yeah.
Like investing into people. I know we did a book club with Redavid with a lot of the educators. I did a lot of education with my staff and a lot of team building and really just took the time to connect on a different level so that there is a level of empathy and understanding and a feeling of one. When I'm behind the chair at the salon, I'm like part of them. I'm not the owner. Like we're vibing. We're working off the same thing. We're all doing the same thing. I'm like laughing my butt off, making everyone laugh. Like it's not that I'm the owner by any means. And I think they can really appreciate that when it comes time to perform, we're all on the same playing field.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's the fun part when the owner is happy and it's involved with the staff. That's a fun time. I've always had a good time doing that one.
Right.
What about cancellations? So COVID effects on your business now. Here we are, a year later. Have you still have a lot of COVID cancellations?
Yeah, you know what? The one thing that COVID did contribute to our industry is really changing the game on processing appointments and services. And I'm actually quite grateful for it. So the best way I can explain it to you is within our salon company, we operate our stylists as pay, so to speak, based on what we call their earning potential. So they determine what their pay is based on how they perform. Because at the end of the day, whoever is operating that chair, in a sense, it's their own business and we have to pay it out. But no business owner, they all live under this umbrella like, oh, I feel bad, or, oh, I want to do this for them. Well, great. But at the end of the day, you still have light, electrical, your water bills. You got to keep the doors open, and no one opens a business to just survive. And that is the truth behind it. And oftentimes stylists want more than they're giving back. And so right from the beginning, when we hire, we take them through the training of a tiered level system. So based on specific goals, such as rebookings, such as dollar per service, how many services, and their overall performance, it determines based on where they land within those goals, what amount of commission they pay.
Wow. Nice.
So
that's interesting.
That's a major incentive to work your butt off. Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah.
And if they do follow it, a 5-year career plan sets you up to make between 65 and 80,000 a year.
Wow.
And part of those goals are retail units per client. So as you grow within this chart or this pyramid of growth, then when you get to the higher kind of levels, like a level 4 or 4A, we pay half of your assistant fee. Mm-hmm. So then you get to work double the time with double the amount of clients with an assistant. And so it really provides incentives to grow within our company. And so at the very top of the tier, you can purchase shares within our company and contribute back to us. So there really is no cap on how much or how far you can grow, but there definitely is a clear line that this is your earning potential. We do not determine how much you earn. You do it yourself, and here are the goals to grow within it.
And
that's a really fascinating model.
Accepting resumes, Catherine. We can put the salon up there. I think you might be getting some people applying here after listening to this.
Yeah, but Catherine, you do it well because you explain. If you got to train your people, you got to explain them how everything works. And, there's only few salon owners sometimes that take the time to really teach the stylist how to understand the growth.
Right, exactly.
That it's not just 50-50 or 60-50, so that's amazing.
It takes the ownership off the owners and puts it back onto the stylist, because
I love it. Yeah.
People, stylists, beauticians, whatever, they come into the salon expecting you to grow them. Well, it's great. We can give you our overflow of people. We can give you, people that call in for, because our reputation is so great. We can help you build, but we cannot actually do the work for you. Mm-hmm. Once they're in your chair, are you selling them retail? Are you rebooking them? Are you making sure you hit a treatment at every service, or, and are you upgrading the service? Like, what are you doing to grow your salon company within ours? And so when they come to us, like, I'm not making enough money, or I need more money, or I need this. Well, my question is, sure, I want to give you this. Let's sit down and take a look at your numbers and see how I can help you get this based on what you're performing now. And we pull the numbers, and within 5 minutes, it's very clear. They either aren't giving referrals or asking for referrals. They're not selling enough retail, or they're not rebooking. The issue with this model came in with cancellations, like Ken said. It skewed the numbers because you're not able to get the services in. You're not able to get the rebook in. So what we have done, we operate off of a system called Fresha, which is a free processing system, but the actual money processing part charges what a regular debit machine would. The benefit to operating with this system is that you need to put your credit card information in to reserve the reservation, to secure the reservation. So if you call and you make an appointment, we'll put it in the system, your information. It will send you a notification to confirm your appointment. In order to confirm that appointment, it's a very clear cancellation policy that you have to read and sign off on that says, should you cancel within 24 hours, you will be charged the full fee of your reservation.
Yeah.
If you cancel prior to 24 hours, we will allow that reservation to slide because it allows us enough time to refill it. If you no-show, there is absolutely no excuse, whether it's COVID or not COVID, because you can give us a call, right? And let us know. We're humans, we're empathetic, that we will waive the fee. But if you do not show whatsoever, it's 100%. If you call less than 24 hours, it's 50%. And what
COVID or no COVID?
COVID or no COVID.
Okay.
And it says it very clearly. If you are tested positive for COVID, we ask that you call us. And of course, we don't want to be like either infected either. But the thing about it is that it can be often used as an excuse.
100%. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I love it.
For us, it's like, if you say, regardless, people are aware that it doesn't matter. But typically what they'll do is they'll call and they'll say, I tested positive for COVID. And we'll say, you know what? Don't worry. But people often like to use that as an excuse, even though they didn't, because it's just now all of a sudden inconvenient. And so what that did, it took our cancellations initially from a 40% cancellation rate last minute down back to like 3%.
Wow. Nice.
And the other part to it is like people aren't happy about paying full price for a service they didn't receive.
Yeah.
So when they call and they complain about it, our response is, you know what? We totally understand. We will like forward some of this money towards the next service. So let's get you in. So we make sure we have that in. We usually give anywhere between, like usually on average, it's like a 10 to 20% rebate on it if they call. But the answer is I still have to pay my stylist. They're here. They put their kids in daycare. They've made arrangements. You know, they paid the guests. One of our stylists, newest stylist, drives from Harrow, which is like an hour and 20-minute drive just to work at our salon. You know, like that's gas. Gas is quite expensive now. So we still have to pay that forward. She showed up for you, you know?
And do you find that your customers are understanding when you explain it and break it down to them like this? Because that makes a lot of sense. I mean, you know, they got to see it from that perspective. You know, are you seeing that?
Yeah, it's usually people who aren't sorry.
No worries.
People who aren't in touch with the world.
Okay.
I don't know what's happening here. It's usually the people who aren't in touch with the world that have a problem with it.
Okay.
There are a few of those in the world.
And you know, you just reiterate, and then oftentimes, you know, it's never the people who are loyal to you, right?
Yeah.
It's never the people who are committed to you. It's always the people who thought they could get in on the sly and work some magic, or the people who always expect to pay half of what it actually costs to get your hair done.
Yeah.
You know, it's usually those people. So I'm not usually offended when they decide to not come back. And I'm like,
you're weeding out the people that probably wouldn't have come back anyway, would be going somewhere else. So it's a good way. Definitely.
It's quality customers.
Right.
That's what it is.
That's what happens.
Bless you.
There goes the screen.
There's the weeding out process.
Yeah, and you know, it's funny that you say that, because I noticed that my salon changed over their policy as well, probably for the same reason. And I actually like the system better now, because before they would actually do calls just to confirm the appointment 24 hours in advance. Now, not only do you get a text once your appointment is booked in to remind you, they'll send one the day before, and they'll send you one the morning of, and it's completely automated.
Yeah, and our system actually like records every movement made within that appointment. So like if it sent you a reminder text, it will say reminder text sent at this time, email reminder sent at this time. If the appointment was moved, it will say the appointment was rescheduled at this time. So you literally cannot navigate that appointment without it recording the shifts in the movement within it. So when people say, I never received it, we say, well, is this your cell phone number? And they say, yes. And I said, well, it was sent at this time and this time and this time and this time. So there really is no way out of it.
And you said that was called Fresha, did you say?
Yeah, so the program is called Fresha. It is a salon company. They're actually really amazing. They're newer, but anytime we have like any feedback to give them about updates that can be made or changes within the programming, they just get on a call with us. They take all of our feedback and they go back and sit at the table, and a week or two later, there's updates to the system. So it's
that's fantastic. Yeah. Wow.
That's a great company. They're listening to what their customers want.
Yeah, it really is. It's kind of, modern, I suppose.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
what about, go ahead, Leo.
I wanted to ask a question. I know that sometimes through COVID pricing, yeah. Okay.
I'm getting there.
I'm getting ahead. I'm always ahead. Sorry. Go ahead.
What about some of challenges that you've had in terms of hiring and retention?
Say it again one more time.
Oh, hiring and retention. What are some of the challenges you've had there?
So hiring has been a big issue for us. The reason why it's been a big issue is because the government has cut off our feet, literally.
Cut off your feet, you said?
Yep.
Okay.
Still paying people CERB or unemployment.
Yeah.
And there literally is no incentive to go out and get a job.
Yeah, you can sit at home and make $2,000 a month still now from the government.
And our industry is not the type of industry where you walk in making 30, 40,000 a year. You have to build your way up with clientele. You start at the very bottom, scouring your way up. And it takes the drive out of working in this industry.
Yeah.
And I mean, when I tell you, unless you're starting a pay at a very high starting commission, it is nearly impossible to hire. People do not want to work hard. People do not want to put themselves out there. It has caused so many issues on more levels than just wanting to work hard. It has caused anxiety issues, personality issues. It has caused people to refrain from socializing, which our industry is completely based off social qualities in people. And people have really retracted into a bubble and have no interest in doing that whatsoever.
Yeah.
What do you think
I feel like it's kind of encourage this like bare minimum attitude type of thing. Nobody's willing to go above and beyond in that extra mile anymore. And it's just kind of they just go through the motions essentially for a job or something to do.
Yeah. What we my sister and I often talk about is that it's taken our industry from a career industry to a hobby industry.
Yeah. Yeah. Something for somebody to do.
Yeah, it's very much like when I feel like doing it, when it makes me happy, like I can do it on the sidelines. It's more of a hobby now for people than it is the career.
Right. Interesting. I think that leads perfectly to this next stat that you had, Ken, where 1/3 of stylists leave a salon after 6 months because they can't build a roster of clients fast enough. Fat enough, they don't get enough going. And I think a lot of the times people in our industry too think that they can get in right away and make money right away. There's that misconception that, it's a quick apprentice program or training. I can get in there and make some money, and they don't realize what it actually takes to be successful in our industry as a hairdresser or as a salon owner.
It takes a good 5 years to really establish a solid career, Marco, in the salon. And,
For sure.
It's work. Like you got to work it, and all the, each and every client that's really important, when you're working with that customer.
Yeah.
Yeah, it really is. And, which is why, so the program we run off is called Summit Salon. I mean, we can't take the credit for building it. Summit Salon was the one who introduced it to us. But it really shows that right when coming in, working at an associate level, compared to where you are in 5 to 7 years, it lays out that career path. So there is no misconception. I think now
Awesome.
within our beauty industry, it's really, really important to lay out these guidelines right from the beginning.
Yeah.
Because it gives the person the opportunity to step away before they even step in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally. That's good.
Sometimes, it's got to start at school, to really tell them, this is the path that, are you willing to stick through that path to get to where you want to go, with your career? That's usually a lot of people fall off pretty quickly in the first year.
It's so interesting.
Catherine,
sorry, go ahead, Ken.
Do you find that the mentorship model helps at all?
I was
for
just
people
about
to
to
really-
talk about that. It's so funny that we're all like on the same wavelength. I was just about to feed off of what Leo said as far as school and mentorship. So the major issue I'm finding is I've diverted from going to experienced stylists and now started hiring and going through the training process to groom them into being in the salon. And the biggest issue is, as a mentor, is what they're teaching in school is still so dated that you need to add an additional 2 to 3 months to erase the brainwashing and start from the beginning. Because what's happening in the beauty schools is the same thing that's happening within our children's education system. There has not been a restructure of the foundations and the ideas that are being trained on that are modern to what's actually happening in the salon now. Like, it's great to know roller sets. It's great to know perms, but like they make you do literally 3 months or 1,000 perms per the course. And I think we get like 10 perms a year. You know what I mean?
Wow.
Let's work on hair cutting. Let's work on those types of things. Like, every person, every associate that has come in as an associate level has no idea or no confidence about cutting whatsoever, the foundations of cutting. The hair cutting is going to be a very lost trade in 10 years because it's not being taught. It's so much easier to throw bleach on hair and create balayage and charge $200, $300 than to understand microfoiling and shadow rooting and this and that, and really taking the time to execute these colors and these haircuts. It's very sad. So
yeah,
go ahead.
It's something I noticed just being on the road with him when he does his cutting, because my dad's an old school cutter, right? Like, he loves
he goes crazy with the scissors.
Doing avant-garde, carving, freehand carving, cutting stuff, and people like look at it and they're like, oh my gosh, I could never do that. They just have no confidence in it, and it's what makes him so different. People come and see him on stage because of those techniques, not afraid to cut the hair and get in there. And people now, you're right, it's just kind of, it's gone. The art of cutting is starting to, disappear a little bit.
It really is. And you know what the most interesting thing is, Marco, is these bobs that you're seeing, these modern bobs, they are the hardest haircuts to perform because one little wrong tweak of the scissors, your bob is like asymmetrical. It's like gangster leaning somehow, or it's doing like these weird flip outs or something.
They didn't push the head forward when doing the back.
Or they have like a little tail in the back or something.
Totally.
Right? So and like, I will teach that haircut as my first haircut as a mentor, and they'll be like, oh my God, why didn't they tell you this? Why didn't they make the section this way, or cut one way, you got to cut the other way? So it really has pushed me into the idea, as well as my partner, my sister, is like, we need to open an academy where we're not only just sending people out of our salon with this knowledge, but like out of an academy and prepared for the world, because I think that's where it's at right now. People are dying to learn. People want to learn. But a 5-minute TikTok or a 5-minute how-to does not give you enough to learn a full haircut.
No.
So what we're finding now is that a school closed here, a beauty school in our area closed, and it's all directed towards the college. And there literally is nothing else within our area, within a 2-hour driving circumference from us. So that's the next direction I think we're going to be headed into, is creating some kind of education program where we can really begin to start the mentoring right from the beginning.
That's awesome. I love it.
That's a brilliant idea.
I like it. I like the idea, Katherine, because, they come from school. I think they should have 6 months. This is what the real world is like, being in the salon. And I think that a lot of the owners are going to really enjoy having, a student or an apprentice that already knows, the vibe of working in that salon. Because
it also does the new stylist a service in that they'll be competent from the very beginning, so they can more easily really start building a business, and they're less likely to just drop out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I would rather give somebody 5 months of cutting techniques than 5 months of perming. Like, that does nothing for them. They all come in like little mice, like beep, 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 beep. Like, they hide in a corner.
Yeah.
They're so
What was that noise, Katherine? What do they do?
I love it.
They do hair with 2 fingers. They're like scared to touch. They eat like quietly in the corner, and they're just like so scared. And I am like the least intimidating person, and they're intimidated by me. And all I do is laugh all day at the salon. So I'm like, how can you be so intimidated by me? I'm so chill. Like, he's scared of her, the real boss back there. I'm scared of her. Everybody walks in and we're all like prim and proper again. Just like,
Awesome.
they're like, and then by the time they're done my program, they're like a whole new personality, and all my guests will be like, what did you do to her? She, like, my newest one, she went from black hair pin straight, it's like red and pink, and she's wearing like all these loud clothing now, and she'll give you her opinion. I'm like, nobody asked for your opinion.
Katherine, what's her name? I can't remember her name.
Maha?
Yeah, Maha. So Maha.
That's her.
Yeah. So I remember she was doing a video and you were filming her with the curl defining cream, and she was so nervous to be on camera, like so nervous. And then when we came to your salon like 3 months later, she was like running the show and asking questions and wanting to do videos and wanting to do all that stuff. It was awesome to see her just kind of blossom into that, confident hairdresser that, is great with product and talking about it and knowledgeable about it. It was I noticed it just with her and seeing her from a video to being in person. It was crazy.
Oh yeah, she's crazy. She actually hits more retail sales than she does service sales.
Wow. Good for her. That's fantastic.
Crazy.
I love it.
She went from like not even speaking a word, and she gives the best head massages now. Just to explain, like, someone like her who comes in terrified because they're seeing how I'm performing behind the chair, the colors that we're executing, the knowledge, the chemistry, and she's so overwhelmed and mind blown, she's scared to speak. To like fast forward 9 months, we come back from the last lockdown from COVID, and she comes off of like a Yamaha like a rocket motorcycle. Helmet, whips it off, and we're all like stunned, like watching her walk by, like, who the hell is that? And so that's exactly what happened with her hair journey. She started off coming in on a bicycle, and then she just took off, and she's doing amazing. She's now only with me 1 day a week from 5 days a week, and she's building her own clientele now, and it's only
that's fantastic.
That's so much fun. When I was teaching, all the, young stylists, it's so much fun and pleasure to see them grow. And, when you give them all this techniques and they can put it to work, it's quite a pride, seeing them grow.
It is. It really is awesome.
Then they get wild. I love it.
They do. Right?
What about morale, Katherine? What are some of the things that you've done to really keep the team morale up?
Yeah. So I think, in my opinion, and this is just my opinion, salons countrywide and beauty industries in general focus so much on the dollar bill at the end of the day that they forget that you're providing a lifestyle and a culture within that salon. And if people come in there and feel that there is no culture, morale, or lifestyle you're setting them up for, it takes the desire away from continuing to want to pursue it. So what we do within our salon company is we work with local businesses. An example would be our yoga studio, our local yoga studio. It's a hot yoga studio. We trade services to do the owner's hair for the allowance of our staff to do yoga free. So being part of our company, we make sure that they are mentally aware and prepared through exerting some of that built up energy in a positive place. So they're allowed to do as much hot yoga as they want. In us providing that for them, it's an appreciation of where our morals are. Our morals are not just because you're bringing money into the salon. We are investing in you as a human. At the end of the day, you have to really remember our feelings are not, these people are human. They're going to make mistakes. They're going to, come in and have bad days, and setting up a positive morale within the salon is huge. So some of the other things we do is, I went to Orlando Premiere and I took an amazing class, and the guy who was teaching the class had these like brick postcards that were just long and skinny, and everyone had like a quote from a famous person. So they come in every morning, they pull a card, they read their card, and they stick it on their glass for the day. And it's really interesting because clients engage in that quote, and so they'll be like, oh, that's really interesting, and it builds conversation. And so at the end of the day, they take it and they put it on our brick wall. And so when the bag is empty, we review the progress within each person and then tear it back down and start again. So it's pretty cool. Awesome. So doing little things like that to build morale within the salon is also really important, I think.
What about changes that you've seen since reopening your salon, the way that you've conducted your business? I know you talked about how your model is a little bit different now.
Yeah. The way we could, so what we're finding is that conducting the day-to-day business is requires a little bit more attention to the people walking in. People want to be noticed more. That was one major thing. Like, we always made sure that when a person was in our salon company, within the time duration they were there, they at least got 3 hellos, 3 compliments, and anyone in there acknowledged that person. Even if they were my guests or not, I say hello to every single person that comes into the salon, no matter what.
That's super important. Yeah.
It is so important. People do not like to feel neglected or ignored, especially when you're the owner and I'm so vibrant and loud. Oftentimes you'll hear people say, well, why didn't she come over to me? And so I've always made a conscious decision to say hello and not come off like prudish or stuck up or whatnot. So reoperating the business, if you're talking as far as guests that come in, I notice that they want more attention. Yeah. And so with our guests who are committed to us, who are regulars, who have been there 3+ years, whenever we hear of a passing, we send out flowers. Whenever we hear of, something happening, we send out a thinking about you card. So there's always that back end of operating and loyalty towards the people that are giving you your loyalty. As far as money wise, we were always, cup half empty versus cup half full sort of thing. So we were always planning for a rainy day. So, conscious spending, making one of the biggest issues we were running into is color going down the drain. And I think that is the number one problem that all salons deal with who have multiple stylists. If you're not paying the bills, you don't know how much that product costs to go down the drain. And seeing a half a bowl of color go down the drain, you're like,
oh, that hurts.
They don't know. So we fell upon, before COVID, this company called Salon Scale. And we never used it to its max potential. And once we rolled back in after COVID, we were like, we need this. We got to get this going. And what it does is it weighs your product. It literally has the database of every color product out there. And you input your cost to it. And when you weigh that, you can just tap okay, I'm using a level 6 red in this company. You tap it, it weighs it, it Bluetooths it from your scale, and it gives you the exact cost of what you're using. So then it saves it to the program. And what we've done is we've forwarded now that instead of raising our prices, we forwarded that product cost to the guest. So based on your usage and what you want, your bill can fluctuate $8 or $50 if you're there for 10 hours, but you're paying for that product at the end of the day. So it literally has taken product costs out of the equation completely.
That is genius.
So each customer pays a different price based on the service they're getting. I mean, it seems so logical that it's like, how come we're not doing that? Like, It doesn't make sense that, my haircut is the same price as my dad's haircut. If, it's less hair cutting, it's less work like that.
Less color.
Yeah. That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. It does it so that, your cost is not fluctuating, because what's happening is you'll get new stylists who are not aware of what the costs are. So hi, Sneaky Bum. So you'll get people that come in and their bill is $100, and the stylist just did a full head balayage on them and really used $60 in product. And so from the $40 left over, we're paying you commission plus 1.4% taxes on top of that. Plus, what does the salon take at the end of the day? We're literally taking $7.
Yeah.
So it made no sense.
Wow.
So what we instructed our guest service specialist, the person who cashes out all of our guests, you are not allowed to cash out the guest without seeing a product fee there. And the product fee is applied to every bill. So just in retrospect for numbers, we went from between July and December, $15,000 we lost in product usage to now recouping $7,000 a month in product usage.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, that's fantastic. Holy cow.
Love it.
What's the name of that system again, Catherine, for everybody listening?
Salon Scale.
Salon Scale.
That's awesome. I like that.
Yeah.
It is. It's really.
That saves a lot of color.
Yeah.
And it does. And what it also does, the program itself, is that it allows you to increase so if I pay $10, I can put a 3% increase on that $10 so that it actually measures at a 3% higher increment for those who really aren't measuring properly. So you essentially never really
built in a fail safe there. Yeah.
Yeah, you never really lose money.
Cool.
That's great. Great advice, Catherine. I like that one.
Now we just need to do that for back bar shampoos and conditioners.
Yeah, I love it.
Not 5 bumps happening there.
I know.
I've been telling Marco we need the card when they go in the shampoo.
Yeah, it only dispenses a certain amount. Yeah, he's asked people. He sees it. He asks people, "Can you put some back in the bottle, please?" Like that fill up the whole palm at the back bar using it and stuff.
I really wish they had those dispensing systems when you go to the grocery store and you hit 1 pound of this and it just dispenses 1 pound.
Totally.
One shampoo, one treatment. It's crazy.
I mean, we see people filling shampoo that falls out of their palm before they even get it on the hair. That's so much. There's so much waste going down there.
It's so painful because that's a lot of money that the owner, if they supply, the back bar, it's just so much money just wasted. It's not that when you use more shampoos or more conditioner, that's going to make the hair feel better.
Yeah,
it's just
waste.
It's just a waste. It's it's tough. So everybody listening, don't use so much stuff.
Yeah.
Leo, do you remember that was one of your wild ideas that Marco and I balked at, and then we tried to figure out how we'd make it work?
Yeah.
The electronic back bar.
Yeah. Well, Marco and I were in the salon all the time, and we see it. And as a company, as we're growing, we want to find ways, to be able to help the stylist and the salon owner. Make everything efficient. It's like Catherine, all those great ideas on color that she's been saying. That's beautiful,
Especially with our conditioners. So they're meant to be absorbed, as you know, Catherine. It doesn't have that normal slip waxy feel that a lot of conditioners on the market have. And we see it, people that are using it for the first time, they always go to put more. And we're like, no, just put a little bit of water on the hair and then continue to massage it in, and then they're like, oh wow, okay, and, and then they're like, all right, you don't need to add that more and more product, and then when you wash it out, it just all comes out and the tangles rinse away. So
it's all about training. That's the thing is be able to educating a new way of a new product, new ways of doing things, and I think we're doing this today. That's what this podcast is all about.
For us in our back bar system, a lot of companies, like with us as well, we have a great back bar program. And if people really take advantage of that, I feel that they'll set themselves up for success a bit more. One of the hints I always give every salon that I go into when I go in for education is they always look at the mask and they're like, oh, nobody wants to buy a mask. We just want the shampoo and conditioner. I was like, well, if you really want to know, we sell more masks than we sell shampoo and conditioner. And the reason for it is because when we offer a treatment at the back bar, we offer it at the retail price of the product. So if a mask, we have a range of masks. We have masks that start from $12 up to our luxury line, which is Redavid, around $40. So we say, these are our masks. We have a mask menu, a treatment menu. Pick your treatment. And if it's the Redavid one, we put a hot towel on it. We do scalp manipulations. It's like a great 10-minute treatment. And they get that mask to take home with them. You have to make it tangible. You have to make that money tangible, because the truth is nobody goes around feeling their hair like this 24/7. Like, oh, is that mask really working? But they feel it when they're in the shower, right? So giving them something to take home with them that you can put in their hand really boost our retail sales.
And Katherine, you do the service from that mask that they just bought, right? You use their product. Yeah. So that's a win-win. It doesn't cost you guys except the time as a salon owner.
100%. And we do a retail payout to our stylist for those treatments. So
nice.
Based on how much the retail increment is. So like 0 to 100, they get nothing.
Yeah. From
100 to 200, they get 10, then 15, then anything over 300, they get 20% of their retail sales.
Nice.
Oh, that's awesome.
Those treatments go under retail sales. And so we want them to sell those, because then guests are coming in and like, we need a reload of masks. We need a reload of treatments. And oftentimes, if you speak to your companies, especially color companies, they will give you a bounce back. So like our back bar treatments, our rep will say, I'm going to throw in a couple treatments for you this order,
Yeah.
So we really don't come out of pocket for the treatments.
Yeah. Katherine, do you track retail spend per customer? So do you look and see like, Susan spent, the last time bought this shampoo and conditioner, so you guys can say, oh, you must be running out, recommend it, and continue to try to sell product? How do you guys do that?
So when they cash out, so whether our guests ask for it or not, our stylists are instructed to whatever styling products they used, from the shampoo to the leave-in to the blowout cream. They are to take every single product and put it at the front desk during the cash out.
Nice.
And our receptionist says, these are the products that Katherine used to accomplish your look today.
Yeah.
Are you out of shampoo and conditioner? Do you need more styling products? She really recommends you take the thermal protector for your hair.
Yeah.
So them seeing that and knowing that I was paying attention to every single thing that I put in their hair really helps. But also in the program that we use to cash out, there's like a whole list of their previous purchases, and when they purchased it, that pops up right away.
Perfect. Love it. It's good.
I used to do the same thing. I used to have product. As soon as I finished, I used to put them in the front all the time.
All the time.
Yeah, and then you'd be like, you're not cashing out until you buy those, right?
Exactly. Yeah. Well, they won't be able to do their hair properly,
Yeah.
The issue is that sometimes stylists are so busy they don't have time to do that. And so when you have somebody like that person at the front desk is your money winner, right? Yeah. That's where your revenues are produced. Yeah. It's where the appointment starts. It's where it finishes. If you can't get somebody strong enough to land that sale, you're going to lose every single time.
You know, we hear the one thing, I mean, everybody hears is, oh, I can never get my hair the way my hairdresser does it. And the first thing that I ask is I say, well, are you using the same product that they used? Oh, well, no, I'm not. I've said, well,
there you go.
I mean, there's your number one, you know, that's hindering you no matter how good of a blow dry you are or blow dryer you are. If you're not using the same product, it's not going to feel the same. It's not going to look the same.
Totally.
So super important to recommend that. Love it.
Yeah, no, a recommendation. I remember I used to sometimes fight with my stylist because, you know, they wouldn't recommend product to the customer. And one day I kind of get a little ticked and I said, you know what? I'm going to go in first thing in the morning and I'm going to take every product out of their stations. And then when they came in, where's my product? I'm going, you think that you can do hair today without having those products? Oh, I can do that. I'm going,
That's how your customer feels.
oh,
yeah.
That's
I
right.
tell you, the week later, we had so much sale. It was amazing. I loved it.
And that's sometimes what you have to do.
Yeah, it was fun.
That's awesome.
Catherine, what about business in 2022? What are some of the goals that you're working on this year?
Sorry. One more time, business in 2022.
Yeah, what about business in 2022? What are some of the ideas that you have that you're working on?
So for 2022, like definitely, my sister and I were looking forward to being able to grow as far as growing our beauty department. We have a lot of square footage that is unused, so we definitely want to fill it up with outside avenues of income that are related to the business, but not necessarily in the beauty industry and per se, such as teeth whitening, injections, renting out to a wedding planner because we have 1 million brides, but something that always directly will benefit us as far as people coming in and out the door and seeing what we do. And at the end, booking an appointment. That's one big thing we're working on, filling that space. There's always room for growth. The other part is our education. We have right off the bat this year, invested $3,000 into learning some of like the newest techniques and extensions and just growing our own knowledge. I think as an artist, once you think you've reached the top, you can retire because, there's always room for growth and you have to be humble enough to understand that and respect that process. So we're both continuing to grow in that aspect of it. And I'm definitely looking forward to Redavid's growth and getting educators back out there. And the desire for education has never been so strong. From what I'm hearing from peers and people coming forward saying, when are you guys getting back on the road? When can I book something? We need something ASAP. And so people are really tired of looking at screens. I really believe that. And they want hands-on. They want interaction. They want to laugh and joke and eat and learn hair back in the community of hair people, beauty people, nail people. Like they really just want that again. So
totally.
I think the beauty industry is going to come back with a crazy revenge after the lockdowns and the restrictions. And for me personally, with the baby on the way, I'm definitely looking forward to the new challenges that are going to present itself with an addition to our family and how
child number four. I think you need to say that because, you got that big S on your chest, superwoman. So that's pretty fantastic.
I can't take all the credit. I have an incredible support system with my husband and my sister, but it is challenging with a family. And I think that's the other biggest issue I can say for guests is they forget that the person behind the chair also has a family at home. So asking me to stay till 10 o'clock to do your hair when I have to go home to kids and homework and it just doesn't stop is a realization that people are not having. So COVID has allowed us to say, hey, hold on. I can only do so much. I have more responsibilities outside of this and finding that balance. And for me this year, COVID, I was like, my kids are growing so fast. I can't ever get this time back.
Yeah.
I need balance. And so I would rather work 3 longer days and have 4 days off than to work 5 short days,
Yeah.
And so for me, I could, if you are smart in business or if you know what you're doing, people will move the way you want them to move. And you just need to take the fear factor out of it. Set yourself up to say, okay, I'm here this day from this time to this time. Get in, pre-book your appointment so you have a spot and you will always have an appointment. Otherwise, you get in when you get in.
Yeah.
It's funny that you were talking about the shorter work week. There was a study done, and in terms of productivity, they're finding that the 4-day work week versus the 5-day work week actually results in more productivity. So some larger companies post-COVID have started experimenting with that, and it's been interesting.
Yeah, we're only open 4 days a week.
Yeah.
What?
Oh.
Yeah, we are. We're only open 4 days a week. We're closed Sunday, Monday. We're open Tuesday, which is our longest day. We're closed Wednesdays, and then we go Thursday, Friday, Saturday.
Wow. I didn't know that. Wow.
That's great.
We don't usually allow people to come in on Wednesdays unless it's like somebody has passed or it's an emergency color correction or something like that. But we give them free availability anywhere from 8 a.m. till midnight on the days that we are open, should they want to work those hours. Myself, I did enough years of doing that. I've now restricted myself to 8-hour days.
Yeah.
Sometimes eight, you plan 8 hours, but you're there 12. So,
Something happens.
Yeah, definitely the balance between, like I said at the beginning, between life, personal life and work life is so important,
Cool.
One last stat and series of stats that I wanted to leave everyone with, because it ties into a lot of what we're talking about in terms of how this event has really changed the industry, with stylists looking at booth renting, a third of them not making it who are new to the industry. For the second month in a row, 38% of salons couldn't cover rent on time and in full for January, and 44% of minority-owned small businesses are not able to afford rent. That's pretty wild. And it goes to what you were talking about earlier, Catherine, where that going paycheck to paycheck, and even from a business standpoint, not doing what you've done in terms of really looking at waste, areas that you can fix productivity issues, tighten up services, increase retail sales. All of those things have really helped you. And in top of everything, to be on a 4-day work week is just wild.
Yeah. And what's so shocking about those numbers, Ken, is that I've been saying for years, if we can take 5 of the most failing salons in our area and amalgamate them into one roof, everybody would have a 75% increase in revenue for themselves for take home. But sometimes there's so much ego and pride and misinformation within our industry alone, that it doesn't allow people to say, why don't I just take this burden off my shoulders and really just focus on my guest experience and take that money home with no headache? Some people really get it right as far as the business, as far as the plan. And some people struggle to get that simply because they were never taught and they don't know how to execute it. It's not really personal when it comes to business. Business is business, personal is personal. But if you're taught the execution and you apply it, sometimes you have to spend more to get more back. And that's where the failure in the process is. There isn't more to spend to get back more, and you're searching for where to execute more income. And when you are down, there's no up sometimes, especially when you owe so much. So yeah, I definitely, I hear that loud and clear. And this is why I feel my best advice for people who aren't making rent is stop paying yourself more than you need. Sometimes we take more than we need as far as commission, and forget that just because you made your color and your product sales on the shelves doesn't mean there is an overhead that next month might be slow.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. The 6-week gap from Christmas to the new year are the slowest weeks of the entire year. And people take their entire Christmas bonuses and then just go crazy with it and forget that the 4-week period, like the first week of February and the last week of February, are the slowest weeks of the whole year. And then, so that's like 2 main weeks in February. So that's half your income in 1 month. And then you need to make up for it. You there's no making up for it if you're living paycheck to paycheck.
Right.
Usually you catch up December and then your fallback starts in February, March, if you haven't planned for it. Yeah.
Katherine, how are you dealing with price increases in the supply chain issues? Like foils have doubled in price, gloves are doubling, everything seems to be going up. How are you battling that on a salon level?
I've made freehand balayage an art.
So just don't buy foils. I love it. No
Just
kidding.
paint it on.
Yeah.
I've made hand painting balayage an art itself. Like, oh my God, I couldn't believe it. Like peroxide went up from $9 a bottle to $14 a bottle
Wow.
per liter. It's crazy. What I can say about increases such as that is that if you are a salon who's worried about raising your prices from losing people, you want to lose people. You want to lose guests, because let me tell you why. If you don't lose guests, there's no room for new ones to come in who are willing to pay the price. There's always someone who's willing to pay the price. So increase your prices, give enough notice that you're going to increase your prices, pay forward that increase to the new guests that are coming in, give a grace period to your existing guests. Otherwise, you are going to crash and burn faster than anything in this world, because most salons don't even charge what they're worth as of now, let alone your price is going up to supply these things that you need to work and not taking enough home anyways. It's a disaster. So this is why we implemented our product fee and passing it forward, because if you don't do that, you will never make enough money to make it at the end of the day.
Do you advocate for a standard yearly price increase just to cover inflation, or do you twice a year? What are your general terms speaking for your own services?
Typically what we do is we do 10% per every 2 years.
Every 2 years. Okay.
During COVID, we didn't increase at all because we knew everybody was going through something. So we went 3 years without a price increase, and we ate it, and we ate it hard. Coming back, we had to do it because there was just no and ifs or buts around it. I mean, we went almost a month without foils. We were like, how could foils be on back order? And so what ended up happening is they created a new tariff on aluminum, which most people didn't know.
Yeah.
And so the tariff on aluminum went up, and therefore foil is aluminum. So you start using plastic wrap, you start using foam foils, you start using clear plastic foils. You're using literally like boards, newspaper, like you're using everything to separate foiling. And it's just like, if you do not plan for rainy days and for price increases, they'll never, like, maybe now you're making it, but give yourself 1 year ahead, especially with import export delays and all of these things that are happening. There is going to be another influx within our industry that you need to prepare for. So if your guests aren't accustomed to you raising your prices that are reflecting our economy, I don't know what to say. It's bad.
Yeah, we at a manufacturer level, we went through the same thing. I mean, we haven't raised our prices since 2018. The pandemic hit and we wanted to, but we don't have a choice now. I mean, everything has gone up. Lead times, prices, packaging, raw materials, shipping costs are up, freight, portage costs, literally everything has gone through the roof. And, it's kind of like, well, do you want to stay in business? That's it. If margins are so thin as it is, like you said, Ken, at the beginning, salon takes home 5 to 8%. net profits if something or their costs go up, 10, 15%, even, we're seeing 25% increases in goods going up and ingredient costs going up. Like our orchid oil, for example, went up by 25%, and it's in every single one of our products. If I don't raise my prices, I'm out of business. And I think, hairdressers need to realize that they don't want to lose customers, but like you said, they're gaining the ones that will spend it. And, those customers that are balking at a price increase, they're probably not buying retail products. They're probably not spending that extra on a treatment. They're coming in for the bare minimum, and they don't want to spend any more than that. Whereas if that customer leaves, you're going to get a customer that may buy retail from you, that may do a mask every time they come in, that may get that type of service. So I think that's great advice. Don't be afraid to charge what you're worth.
It's consistency with the customers. That's what I found is, you set them up. This is what happens every 6 months or every year. They get used to it. They really do. Whatever you tell them, as long as the hair is beautiful and you give them the service, they usually pay for it.
Yeah. Here's what else I will say about price increases. When you have a salon company that runs off tiered stylists, so based on demand of time and their earning potentials, if somebody is in your chair and your prices and the cost of the salon experience is too much, there always needs to be an offering that you can give them that complements what you're doing. So I'm able to say, you know what? Thank you so much for communicating to me that this is maybe out of your budget. Let me offer you Maha, who was trained by me, who I oversee still, who I see everything that she does, and I still check every haircut, where you can go to her and she will provide the same color and salon experience as me, maybe not with the same experience as in history, but I'm here to watch over and make sure you get a great experience for this much less.
Yeah.
Right. So you're still retaining the client and the guest, and they're still able to get your great products, but you need to keep them within the four walls and not having a tiered system. The first thing they're going to say is, this is too much. I need to find somewhere else. Yeah. Well, they're going to find somewhere else, but they're definitely not getting the quality. So That's one thing. The other thing is that when you are, in an industry where you are constantly providing offerings, like, do you want to upgrade? Do you want a treatment? Do you want this? Are you interested in this? It can become overwhelming. And what happens with stylists and what we teach them is the fear of no. Everyone's scared of of the guest saying no.
Yeah.
But nobody goes to McDonald's and you pull into the drive-thru. They never not offer you the supersized fries and Coke, right? They always say, would you like to supersize that? And it's up, and they're not looking out for anything other than their pockets, right? Do you want to supersize your fries? And you can choose to say yes or no. And so the same thing needs to be for us. Do you want to supersize your experience and take home our products? And if they say no, it's okay. But you do not know what is in people's pockets to spend. Make the offering. Let them choose.
Yeah,
don't be in fear of no. No is okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's like you. We could be at Neiman Marcus and he'll say, if I'd like to, do I get a discount? And I'm like, oh my gosh. And one time it worked. And they're like, yeah, we can give you 10% off. And I almost lost it. He's like, see, all you got to do is ask, right?
Leo's not in fear of no.
Not at all.
No, it's you got to try again and try it better.
Exactly.
It's no, it's not going to kill you. You ain't going to fall over and have a heart attack, so it's like, okay, thank you.
I know. You got to ask for what you want nowadays. You can't expect it.
I don't know. To me, I like bargaining. So when we do go shopping, I don't care where I am. It's like
fighting. Like, oh my god.
Oh, every time. Yeah. Literally every time, no matter what. Yeah.
Don't worry, Mark. We have a baby on the way. Watch how much bargaining skills are going to be coming out.
Yeah, totally. 100%, for sure. Love it.
One final stat I wanted to leave you guys with. Hair care spending, however, is predicted to increase 8.1% this year.
Love it.
Yeah, I see that. You know why I see that? Because of YouTube University.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
honestly, because people are learning how to do their hair at home.
Yeah.
And a lot of times the techniques that they're showing on YouTube aren't styles that allow for longevity. And the only way to get the longevity is through using products. And with all of the YouTubers, product reviews, all of these things that are happening, you're seeing more people coming in and saying, hey, I tried this. I need a stronger hairspray to make it stay, or hey, I tried this, I'm frying my hair, I need a thermal protector. So definitely it's I see that happening for sure.
Love it.
One last thing is our hair history bite for this week. And since it was trending, I thought we'd talk a little bit about the origin of the pixie cut.
Nice.
It was London in the swinging 60s when Vidal Sassoon's phone rang and a good friend filming at Paramount Studios asked him if he would be interested in flying to cut actress Mia Farrow's hair for the press to drum up interest in his latest film, Rosemary's Baby. Vidal replied, Roman, I did it about 6 weeks ago. Director Roman Polanski responded, yes, but there's always something to take off. And thus hair history was made. Mia Farrow's husband, Frank Sinatra, was appalled at the cut. Barbara Walters interviewed Vidal a few weeks later and gave him an award for making women look ugly.
Wow.
Nevertheless, Mia Farrow's pixie cut became a popular style throughout the 60s, sold scores of movie tickets to Rosemary's Baby, and further catapulted Vidal Sassoon's already successful career. Although Mia Farrow in 2012 informed the New York Times that she had in fact created the cut herself 2 years before, Vidal shortened it from 1.5 inch to 1 inch. It was Vidal who certainly popularized it. Although the very inventor of the style is lost to history, it became popular in the 1920s and again in 1953 when Audrey Hepburn herself chopped her locks off to play Princess Anne in the movie A Roman Holiday. Following the uproar after Mia Farrow's pixie debut, celebrities such as Goldie Hawn sported the look through the early 1970s until long hair was back in vogue, until Madonna lobbed off her long blonde locks in 1986. The timeless pixie haircut is for the gal who wants to get notice, with people like Winona Ryder rocking the look back in 1997, Victoria Beckham making headlines for hers in 2008, and Emma Watson's cut was so dramatic that she broke the news on Facebook.
Nice.
Love it.
That's awesome. Now the issue is getting someone to learn how to cut it that way again.
Yeah.
Catherine, that's our job, eh?
Yeah.
That's going to be our job.
Yep. You think cutting bob was hard? Try doing pixie cuts. Those are very.
Oh, I love those.
Don't be like Aubrey and Mia. Go see your hairdresser. Don't do it yourself. That's awesome.
That's
The
okay.
last
The YouTuber can do it, and then they just got to put holes everywhere, and we got to fix it.
Yeah.
Exactly.
We always end with final thoughts, something that you want to leave people with to think about. So why don't we start with Catherine?
What I would like to leave people thinking about is that remember that give yourself the same amount of empathy and courtesy and time as you want to give to others. We want to give it away always, but forget to ask for it for ourselves. And that everybody's always human. So make mistakes and stay creative behind the chair. And don't be afraid to take a different direction in where you've always been. Sitting in the seat of comfort never, ever, ever helped anybody. You need to be uncomfortable to be successful.
Love that.
Yeah. That's a
Marco.
good one.
Do that change you've been thinking about. Go for it. Go for the pixie cuts. Have some fun. Make a big change. Hair grows back. I think that's, it'll be a fresh start for 2022.
Mark, are you telling me to cut my hair?
Do it. Yes.
Are you telling me to cut
I'll do it.
Yeah, you come and cut it for
I'll
sure.
do it. No problem. I got
Leo,
sharp scissors.
Don't test me, Leo. I need a haircut so bad.
I love it.
Well, last one I give you, you enjoyed it?
Come back and cut it.
I will.
Awesome.
Leo, what's your final thought?
My final thought in 2022 is forget about the past. Forget about the trouble and the pain that we've gone through because if you stay in the past, you're going to be in the past. Always think of moving forward and really forget about what you've gone through, but at the same time, learn from what the past has given you, but don't stay in the past. It's like keep moving forward. You got what it takes to learn and learn and learn and learn again. And that's what I would love to leave everybody in 2022 is let's keep learning and let's keep loving some more.
How about you,
My
Ken?
final thought is take the time to question everything that you're doing. Because I think particularly in life and business, we do things because it's a pattern and it's comfortable, particularly when it comes to how to operate a business. But Katherine, like you were talking about, the way in which you look at every facet of your business to think about how you can optimize or profit better or save money can really, in the long run, potentially save your business. So really take the time to think about what you're doing and make that short-term investment to make change in the business on all of those factors to really fix it in the long run.
Awesome.
Well, thanks for listening, everybody. Thank you for joining us, Katherine. It's nice to have you and see your face there. Hopefully we'll see you soon in person again.
Yes.
It's been too long.
We love you. Thank you so much.
Thanks, guys. Bye.
Thanks for joining us,
Bye,
everybody.
everybody.
Bye, everyone. Thank you.
you.